I'm Helen, and today I'm going to talk to you about the presence of spirit. It is considered the gold standard of evidential mediumship. But what do we really mean by that? Because presence can mean so many things. And in terms of spiritual presence, we might be saying an awareness, a sensation of spiritual beings, loved ones, angels, guides, your God being close to you, you sensing an awareness of them. And that would be a presence and would feel remarkable. But it can mean so many different things, can't it? And if we break it down, the significance is how it connects to the spirit world. And why is it so important compared to information such as names, dates, messages? And I think for most of us who've experienced the presence of spirit, it's because it is a feeling and a knowing you can't necessarily put into words. There may be certain things you can describe it as, but what it actually is an amazing experience, something that says they're close. Information such as names and dates, addresses, significant moments in their lives, significant moments between you and the spirit are of course important if they're important to you. But for me, the presence of spirit is everything. And I would far rather go to a spiritual service and all we did was we sit with the presence of spirit. And this is what the Quakers do very well, actually. Their meetings are silent until you feel moved to speak from the spirit. And it's a very beautiful experience. But with spiritualism, it's moved towards a demonstration of proving that there's life after death by a medium getting up and giving evidence. But you can't always get the presence of spirit. And you can't always prove that there's life after death, no matter how good your information is. I could go to a demonstration of mediumship and the medium tells me the most remarkable details about one of my loved ones in the spirit world, and I still have the right to walk out of there and say, yeah, that was very clever, that was very interesting, don't know how they do it, but I still don't believe in life after death. But if I feel them, if I sense them, if I know that they are around me by some means because of their presence, then that's something completely different. So the gold standard is to achieve the presence, because for you as an experiencer, it is undeniable. And many of us have had those experiences. Your perception, your awareness, your just knowing that someone is close by is quite something. You know, we see wonderful examples of this in the living, and you see it with animals. And Rupert Sheldrake wrote a wonderful book about dogs who know when their owners are coming home, even when the owner didn't know that they were coming home at the time that they did come home. It wasn't a question of the animal knew the timing and the habits. It was a question of the animal actually sensed when the owner was coming home. So that's something that's really interesting to me, is the presence of spirit. And we get lots of clues with it. We get perhaps a sense of being wrapped in the arms of love. Perhaps we just sense what it feels like to be with them again. That beautiful bond that we had just seems to come back and overwhelm us. Some of us, of course, do have experiences where we might see someone from the spirit world, we might hear them, we might smell their perfume, or taste a favourite meal that we had with them that has special significance. But to actually sense their presence is quite special. So how do you actually work on that? Well, certainly it is all to do with your awareness, and the more aware you are of your own emotions, of your own surroundings, then it's going to help you recognize presence. I'm going to give you one example. For example, you might have done this. I've done this before. I've visited a place where there is perhaps a lovely church, and it's open and it's empty. And I go up to the front and I sit, and I'm looking at the altar, and I'm just feeling very reflective. And I might close my eyes perhaps and even meditate a little. I might even say a little prayer. And I just have this wonderful feeling of calm and peace. And while you're there, somebody comes in. Now, if this hasn't happened to you, imagine it. There you are in this wonderful building dedicated to people's God and hope and prayer and love and lives. And while you are there at the front, you hear the door go, and you hear someone come in, and they sneak in and they sit at the back. So you're aware because you've heard it, you know somebody's there. But more than anything, for the rest of the time that you are there, you are aware of their presence. You haven't turned round and looked at them, but they are there. Now, if you haven't had that experience, I have a number of times, but if you haven't, imagine it. And that is what it isn't like to know presence. It's a question of you're not alone. You know somebody else is there. Couple that with mediumship. So you might have the medium who gives you lots of evidence. And you have the sense that you know that they are there. Then it is a very powerful experience. And it is really the gold standard, because you will come away from there. And it's not about what the name was, you know what the name was. It wasn't about what the job was, you knew all that. It was about you felt they joined you and they got close to you. And so there was the presence of spirit. And it is really beautiful. So I spoke earlier about how you could perhaps increase that awareness of the presence of spirit for yourself. And certainly things like mindfulness work very well. Any form of meditation, as simple as just following your breath, being aware of your breath, closing your mind off to everything else and focusing on breathing in and out. And in and out. That's enough to do it. Because you are taking your mind off changing the situations with your thoughts, and you are just present in that moment being. So that's one way of helping. Another is feeling very grounded, so you feel very much of this world. So anything that isn't of this world stands out like a sore thumb. So feeling very grounded means you feel very connected to the world, and you're also your own soul, your own intuition. And, walks in nature are perfect for that. Breath awareness exercises are perfect for that. So think about being grounded and doing grounding exercises, going outside and just listening to the birds and looking at the trees and hearing the rustle of the leaves and the sound of your own feet on the ground as you walk. All these things are very grounding and make you super aware. And that super awareness will help you recognize presence. So it's really a wonderful thing to do. Now, another thing to think about is the presence of yourself. So when we're talking about presence and we're talking about mediumship, we're really talking about energy, whether that's spiritual energy or whether it's physical energy. And the more you can become aware of presence within yourself, the better. And we've all had those experiences where we've walked into a room and we felt totally invisible, or we've walked into a room and perhaps everyone wants to talk to us, or there's something magnetic about us. and being magnetic is an energy. So think about your energy, and that changes all the time by how you are feeling, how you're feeling on a physical level. If you're unwell, your energy may be very low and you may want to feel very invisible. If you're feeling very happy, your energy is big, and if you're feeling very balanced and your mind feels very good, in a good place, then your energy is getting very expansive and big, and you become a point of attraction for others because they sense your presence. If you see it, if you walk into a room, have you ever done that yourself? Perhaps you've tried to get into a room and be as quiet as a mouse. So you very, very carefully turn the doorknob, very slowly open the door, and you kind of almost shape shift around the door to get into the room, so that almost as if nobody notices you, you're making your presence as small as possible because you're worried. You're late, perhaps, or you don't want to disturb anyone that's already there. Or you just open the door, you fling in, and you say, hello, everybody. And your presence is big, and you're confident. So think about your own presence as well. So that's what I want to finish on, is it is the gold standard of mediumship. And one thing I want to finish on is that if you are a medium, then you need to work on building yourself so that you bring the presence of spirit to the room, so to speak. You invite the presence of spirit, not just information and messages. That is crucial in my mind. When I've seen it done and when I've tried it myself, it does make a huge difference. It changes the atmosphere. In another situation, I'm going to talk to you about when I sensed the presence. In another video, I'll talk to you about when I sensed the presence phenomenally, and that is relating to trance mediumship. But that's coming up in a later video, so do please like, subscribe, and click the bell so you get notice of when those videos are coming up. But I hope that helps a little bit with understanding about the presence of spirit, but also how important it is if you are developing mediumship. It's your gold standard, so go for gold.